Hi,
Good evening, John. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well.
Okay.
Let's see. We have also, it looks like Umberto is in as well. Good to see you, Umberto. How are you? Let's see. Can we hear him? There we go. Let's see. So, John, what country are you from?
I'm originally from Colombia, but I'm living in
Hmm.
the in Canada now,
Ah, which province?
in Ontario.
Oh, okay. It must be a little bit cold, I would imagine.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a wee bit, I think so. Let's see. Umberto, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, good. And you?
Oh, I think very good. It's
Yes.
nighttime here, which is why I made the theme of tonight's class scary stories. So we'll wait
Yes.
for a few more people to come in and we'll begin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually makes you do is like 10 p.m.
10 p.m. over here? Yeah, it's 10 p.m. here. So let's see. Hello, Mr. Nguyen. How are you?
Hi, Matteo.
Hi, how are you doing?
You are night owl person, right?
Just a little bit.
You are night
I
owl now.
hmm I teach at my school during the daytime, and I teach here on Verbling at nighttime. I'm ve- and I'm very excited for today's subject. Uh, I'm so excited for today's subject. Oh, it looks like we have two more individuals. We have Albis. How are you? Albis Cordero, can you hear me?
I can.
Very, all right, wonderful, sir. Thank you. And Juan is back. Nice to see you, ma'am. How are you doing? And it looks like Brenda is going to be back as well. We have a full class. If anybody has trouble hearing me, just let me know. We'll go ahead and get started. So, suddenly, I decided to try to do this class because one of my favorite things to do late at night, I have to tell you, late at night, before I would ever go to sleep, my mom and dad would tell me scary stories before I went to bed. And actually, believe it or not, that would help me go to bed, was listening to scary stories. I'm a little strange. So, those of you who haven't met me yet, it's nice to meet you. My name's Matthew. I'm one of the other teachers here at Verbling. Um, I'm from the United States in the state of Texas, and my day job, I'm a school teacher, but nighttime and afternoon, I like to come here on Verbling and help out. So I'm going to begin with I'm going to actually begin with a scary story of my own that I wanted to share. Today's subject, it's officially a debate class, but really it's a storytelling class. I would like everybody to think of a very scary story, especially if it's one that's maybe from your home country, and we're going to share them. The first one I'm going to share with you is actually one that I have right here on my electronic book. This story is actually about a hospital in Texas, a hospital for people who are mentally disabled. Do you understand what I mean by mentally disabled?
Yeah, like schizophrenia and other stuff.
Like schizophrenia or crazy. Believe it or not, there's a hospital in my home state for people that are mentally disabled, but it's so isolated. It's so isolated, that means it's so far away from any city that actually nobody really knows what goes on there, even today. The government pays for it, but we don't really know. So I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to start now. In a secluded area of Texas, there is a mental hospital that looks to be abandoned. Actually, it's not. It's a functioning place, but more of a prison than a hospital. It's actually a part of hell. Mental patients that commit crimes come here after their death to spend eternity here. One such patient is called Spicy for what he did. When he was alive, this man murdered many people. Then he wrote the word spicy on their bodies. Now he sits in his room for all eternity, and his punishment? Everything he tastes, including his own saliva, that means his own spit, is extremely spicy. Irony is so wonderful, isn't it? Especially when it's punishing someone. Another is named Link. He fought in many wars. He died in action. The thing is, he liked killing people. His punishment is to eternally relive his painful death, being slowly ripped apart by his enemies. No person is ever allowed to leave this hospital, and no one alive is ever allowed to come inside. Some say it doesn't exist. Some say it's just a figment of people's imagination. But I know for a fact that this place is real. I've seen the punishments and torture, and it's easy. I'm actually its director. Most call me him, but I prefer to be called by my real name, Satan. Well, looks like it's about time to go, isn't it? See you soon. So that's actually a little story about a supposedly a mysterious hospital in Texas, which in our state's culture we think is actually part of hell. And when people die, they go to that mental hospital to be punished. We're weird people. I think so. So I want to actually open the floor. Can anybody think of a scary story that really affected you when you were a little boy or girl?
Who?
Anybody. I will take any volunteer. Is everybody going to?
It's not a history. It's the movie, but
Go ahead.
the movie was called like Eso.
The one with
The payaso. I don't
yeah,
know the
the
name.
payaso.
Yeah, it affected me when I was a child.
What was the story of the movie? Can you tell?
Is it called, what is the name for that? Give me a second.
The clown?
I think.
I hate that. That movie is so terrifying, and I hate clowns because of that movie. I know this movie in English we call It. Could you share the story for everybody if you don't mind, Brenda?
Yeah, it's clown. The name is clown. Yeah. I remember this clown killed little boys and kids. The thing is kids.
Yeah, it would kill kids.
I never can finish that movie because when the clown stay on the street and see a little like a ship, like a barco. What is the name for barco? Like a ship, boat. Little boat of paper. Oh, I was very scared in that part, and I always feel that clown near to me when I was kid, like a little girl. Yeah,
That movie
it
scares
affects
me.
me.
That
Yeah,
movie scares me too. It's actually based on a book by a famous author called Stephen King.
oh
Stephen
really?
King,
Yeah.
yes. And I hate
I
that
was
movie.
afraid.
I hate that movie because the clown is inside the sewer, and it tells the little boy, come here," and it says to him,
Yeah.
"They float, they float,
Yes,
Billy.
float.
They all float,
Yeah, it
and
was so
you'll
scary.
float too."
Or I remember it was
I know.
scary.
But
Even
then
to
it's like very weird now because there is like an arachnid. Like the clown becomes like an arachnid.
yeah, it
So
becomes a spider.
yeah, and the spider. So it's like very. I don't know. I don't like the end. Well, the whole movie is like great.
I know it's kind of a silly movie, but it scares me uh, a little bit. I think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in fact, I remember a moment who was a little scared because when I was child, I went to the school and before we have like a asamblea in English. I don't know what is
Assembly.
for
Assembly? Assembly.
Someday.
for
An
yeah,
assembly.
here in Mexico is called like a honores a la bandera.
The raising of the flag, or honoring the flag.
Yeah, and some kids say
So,
of the rooms have a like a fantasma,
A ghost.
Ghost.
a ghost, and they say one of the portrait, like portrait retrato, ¿está bien?
Yeah, I think that is portrait. Well, I think.
Portrait,
so,
yeah, that portrait
like,
it moves their eyes,
Ooh.
yeah, and really I see when move the eyes and I'm very scary and I cry, I remember,
non so fantasma, tá?
but I believe I was very child, but it was very, me persuadieron demasiado con sus historias, entonces creo que fue obra de mi cerebro.
Sí.
I can understand.
It's okay. She's. She's talking a little bit about that. She's not sure she believes in the history of. What's that? Yeah,
Yeah.
Brenda, you have to be a little bit more friendly. We don't suddenly want Miss Nguyen to speak Vietnamese on us. Then none of us will understand what's going on. Brenda, which part of Mexico are you from?
I'm from Baja California.
Baja California. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think our cultures are a little similar. Did you ever, for my friends in Latin America, and Miss Nguyen, you may know this story too. Has anybody ever heard the ghost story about La Llorona?
Yeah.
Yes.
La Llorona?
It's like very famous.
Very
Of course,
popular.
of course. Can I have one volunteer tell the story for everybody who may not know?
Hello. I'm from
Go ahead.
Venezuela.
Go ahead, Alvis.
I'm from Venezuela, and here there's a lot of ghost stories. La Llorona, El Silbón. There's a lot of ghost stories. I think La Llorona is a woman who fell in love with a man and that man betrayed her. So she killed him, and then she killed herself, and then she now appeared.
But I
Mexican bag.
remember she killed their sons.
Her sons, yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's always saying, ¿Dónde están mis hijos? Where are my children?
Yeah.
My children.
Okay.
No, in fact, she say, "Ay, mis hijos," with
Ay, mis
a lot of pain in her soul.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's
Yeah,
mis hijos, like
He works,
oh,
he works along the rivers.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Well, is that in Mexico City there is a river called I think that in Xochimilco there is like a big river and there are like well it's like famous and they say that well the Whipper was married with an Spaniard man and then well I think that the Spaniard part didn't want their child to be born but she have it but then the Spanish man left her so, well, when the boys were born, she raised them until the age of 4, and then she killed them, and then she began to cry to all the to along the river, like "Ay, mis hijos," like "Where are my children?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yes.
there are like thousands of versions of that story in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mexico.
I think in many, I think in most of, including some American states like California and Texas, we also have this legend because of our large Latino population. This story, Miss Nguyen and some of our, and Dean, it's very famous in the United States and Latin America. It's about a beautiful woman who she falls in love with this man, but he doesn't want to adopt. He doesn't want to accept her children. He says, "I love you, but I cannot marry you because you have children." This is just the children. This is just the general story. The details change depending about who tells the story, but basically, she kills her children. She drowns them in a river to make this man happy. But, of course, the man is not happy because she killed her kids. He doesn't like that, so he rejects her, and she, in most stories, she kills herself, and her ghost is always in the river, always watching, just going, my children, where are my children? And if you get too close, if you get too close to her, she'll drag you into the water with her.
Oh, okay.
My mother used to tell me that story to keep me from going swimming at night.
They say too that the Whipper like stole many children here in Mexico, like the ones who go in the street at night. They say that the Whipper stole them.
Let's see.
Yeah, yesterday I also read an urban legend about Las Vegas. There's a guy, he's doing business, and when he goes to a bar, he chats with a girl, and they hit it off immediately, and then he drinks, and like he lost his consciousness. And when he wakes up, he's already in a room of a hotel, and there's a note says that well, you have to call the hospital or else, otherwise you will die. And as it turns out, yeah, he has his organs removed, one of his kidneys.
Oh my! He wait! They took his kidney?
Yes.
Oh, that actually sounds like it could really happen. Maybe it's not an urban legend, Glenn. Maybe it's real. What do you guys think? Do you think that people come and steal people's organs like that? Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I don't know. Maybe
possible.
it's not possible in the United States.
I think maybe even it could happen here, probably, because all Americans want to make money, and
Well, in Mexico, that's true. Well, it's called organ trafficking, and well, like people who needs a kidney and he has money, well, he goes to the black market and then he buy a kidney. Well, the kidney needs to be sold from like a kid or like a donkey.
Yeah. I think there's probably, we would use the term in English, there's probably a black market for these organs.
Yes,
a black market, like an illegal market. Yeah, probably. Oh, that's
Yes.
scary. These days, unfortunately, I hear so many, there's actually a lot of ghost stories coming from Mexico about the cartels, actually, believe it or not. The cartels have become such a big part in North Mexico that they even affect the music and the religion in
Yes.
around where I live, like in Coahuila, Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, next to
Yes.
Texas. Yeah, it's very interesting, actually.
Yeah,
I
that songs in Spanish
I
are called
didn't know about
narcocorridos.
it.
I'm sorry. I'm
Ah,
sorry.
the
Brother?
music you say, but
Yeah.
not but history like a scary history you say?
No, like just like scary stories. People make like scary stories about some of the members. I'm hearing some loud noise. If people could be careful to mute your microphone.
Well, in fact, I remember a history here in Tijuana,
Oh, go ahead.
and for that kind of like a what is it, like a tema,
Mm.
you know,
Does anybody want
Topic?
to? Yeah.
topic, like that topic, and here have a person who was called Pozolero.
Pozolero.
He was from a cartoon, no?
Yeah, he in charge to disappear the bodies of people who the narcos killed,
Yeah.
and he put their bodies into a like a acid or something
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
Well, I think that he
He
put the body with
disappeared the
light, no?
bodies in the like a liquid. Ugh,
Yeah.
But those are
very
crazy.
disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well.
it's a history.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys who may not be originally. Let's see. I'm noticing, Salvador, there's some sound coming from you. Do you mind muting your microphone, please? Thank you. For those of you who may not be familiar with what's going on in Mexico right now, unfortunately, for the past several years, Mexico, especially North Mexico, from Baja California all across to the Texas border, there's been a very big narco war between the cartels and the government.
Yeah.
That we're talking about, actually, it's very interesting that the war has actually affected the ghost stories and the folklore, the culture of northern Mexico. So that the scary stories in Mexico now, almost many are actually about the cartels themselves. It's a very shocking. And even I remember, does anybody know the city of Laredo, Texas? Laredo, Texas?
Yes. I am going to be there like in like the other year. I'm going to live there for 2 months.
I actually went to university in Laredo for my bachelor's degree. Yeah. And so the first I was there when the narco war began in Nueva Laredo, and I still remember coming across, and the cartels hung the bodies of some police officers on the bridge as a warning. Just the body just hanging there. The head is gone. It was brutal. In fact, there was a woman killed in Morelia very recently, an alcalde, a mayor.
Oh, the
yes.
Yeah, it's very sad, I think. And it hurts because Texas and Mexico, we're basically family. So it really hurts to see that. But unfortunately, a lot of these scary stories are, in this case, are true. It's terrifying.
I believe in the whole world are these kind of histories, but we have a bad like a
reputation or what?
Reputation, yeah. But in fact, I believe in the big cities always happen things.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah, but it happens for us.
I think John wants to say something. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, what's happening now is so sad, but I went to the south of Mexico and I really enjoyed, with my family.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to Cancun, and it's wonderful. I mean, I'm Hispanic, but I also, this was the first time I went to Mexico, and you guys are really nice people, very nice people, very
Thank you.
gentle.
Yeah, and in fact, in 2008, what we have in Tijuana, especially, we have very bad situation. Bad, 2008, and we can go outside our houses because always have people to kill people. But right now, the things are very normal, and I accept in 2008 was very bad, but now we recover
Really, sir.
to believe. We live with this past because not the whole people know it changed, but I believe just we have to take time to recover that reputation, good reputation.
Yes, and
But it's a price for that moment, and it's
Yes.
okay.
but
Well, here
that's
in
the.
the
Go ahead.
well, here in the center of Mexico, the things are like very normal. Well, all
Yeah.
the time, because well, you are not in the north or in the south, so it's like normal. It's
Yeah.
like a normal city. Nothing happens. Where I hear like many stories from the north and from the coast, and they are like very sad.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of Mexico is, we're here talking about some real scary stories here, but one of the benefits of Mexico is it has a history of being very, very resilient, being able to recover time and again and again and again whenever there is an emergency or a crisis. From Spain to the Porfirio
Diaz,
Diaz's period, yeah, to the revolution, to the PRI.
Well,
And,
the priest going to come back.
well, hopefully, I will hope that Mexico's democratic institutions are strong enough to handle that. We will pray.
Yes.
But that's one thing. But I think that Brenda brings up a good point that maybe that scary stories also can have a social effect because people have been so scared because there is a war, of course, in northern Mexico now. Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez have gotten better, but Ciudad Victoria and Nuevo Laredo have gotten worse, and Matamoros worse also. The western part of the border has gotten better, but the eastern part has gotten more dangerous because the two cartels, Sinaloa and Los Zetas, are fighting each other now. And this has caused, I think, a very difficult situation for the eastern part of the border. But scary stories have a effect of making things seem maybe exaggerated or scarier than they are because it's something you don't know. I think so. But Mexico will do what it always does. It will continue to thrive and will grow and will just always get up and keep moving, which is what Mexico is pretty good at. I think so. Yeah.
You know what? Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, bud.
You know what? You know more than about Mexico than I do. So I'm from Mexico, and I don't even that kind of stuff. I'm living in Cancun.
Oh, really?
It's nice, Cancun.
You're in Quintana Roo?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Texas and Mexico, we're basically brother and sister. We just separated about 170 years ago, but our relationship, we're basically family. My Texas, you cannot know our history if you don't know Mexico, and you can't know Mexico if you don't know Texas. So, of course, you have to. But moving on, I'm very curious. Miss Nguyen brought up a good point. Sometimes scary stories are urban legends. whereas Miss Nguyen brought up the trafficking of organs. I think, what other urban legends can we talk about right now? Because I think that's a good topic to explore.
I think
Yes.
I
Go
think
ahead.
the biggest ghost story is El Chupacabra.
El
Oh, yeah.
Chupacabra.
Yes. Well,
Now,
that's fake
to anybody
story
who's
in
not
Mexico.
familiar, with the Chupacabra, can somebody
I am.
explain to our other friends?
Yeah,
You?
please explain. I have no idea.
Yeah, Miss Nguyen doesn't know. I know, but the story changes with each country. So first, let's translate the word chupacabra into English. It means goat sucker or goat vampire.
Ghost vampire.
Yeah, and I see Victor has joined us. Good to see you, Victor.
Hello guys, how are you?
Where are you from, Victor?
I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil. All right. Now we have the rest of Latin America with us. So, Mr. Cordero, would you please explain the story of the Chupacabra, the goat sucker or goat vampire?
Vampire.
I don't know very well the story actually.
Can you describe what the monster is supposed to be like?
Well, it's like a devil, and he likes kill animals for eating.
Yeah. So, can anybody else want to? Does anybody else want to add more about the Chupacabra?
I think it's kind of
Well, I have here.
Go ahead.
It's kind of big bat.
Did you wait? Gwen, did you just say the Chupacabra is Edward Cullen?
No, definitely not.
You can say you only eat animals.
Did you know, actually, do you guys want to see something? I dressed up as Edward Cullen for Halloween.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because my students, I was teaching middle school students, and the girls all love Edward Cullen, but I don't like. Oh, if you like Twilight, that's okay. But
He's not scary at all.
But I kept telling them, I said, no, Edward Cullen is not a real vampire. Vampires do not sparkle. They do not sparkle, and they cannot go in the sunlight. But in Twilight, they can go in the sunlight, they sparkle, and he's a stalker. He is a stalker because he watches that girl while she sleeps. So
yeah, it's true.
He wants to be the girl, actually.
Yeah, so possibly. So what I did was I made my face very pale. I put dark eyeliner here. I put my hair up in spikes, and I spent the entire day going, excuse me, I love you, Bella. I like to watch you when you sleep. Isn't that romantic?
Poor girl.
They were like,
it's true. It's true.
I told him, I was like, if a boy wants to watch you when you're sleeping without telling you, he's a bad boy and you need to run away.
Definitely.
Yes.
I take note.
So, Miss Wen, are you a Twilight fan?
No, I'm not. But a lot of girls around me, they're crazy about him. So.
They love Edward. Okay. Well, maybe Edward would be a good Chupacabra. Maybe it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He's a Chupacabra.
Right.
I don't think so.
Well, now I want to ask if we could let Victor, Mr. Luna. I actually don't know a lot about folklore or scary stories in Brazil. Do you have one you would like to share with us? Maybe an urban legend?
Well, I don't know either. I don't know so many about the culture of my country, but I think there's like a really good stories like Saci Pererê, for example.
Go ahead.
And it's a black boy, you know, who's just just has like one leg, and he stole something. He's like a playing guy. Like he's like to make tricks and stuff like that. And there's a other thing that's really scary. It's a guy who has like a red hair, and his feet is like from to behind. I don't know how to explain, but it's like the contrary. You know what I mean? Like his feet's like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that way people think that he's coming from the opposite direction when you look at his tracks.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Curupira.
Curupira. Oh, that just sounds.
It's not scary at all.
That depends. If it's Edward Cullen, who's a Curupira, it's possible that would be scary because you don't know who he's stalking.
Yeah.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, since we represent several countries here, we need to create an international security agency to watch out for Edward Cullen. So if he comes to stalk any of us,
yeah, to say that again.
I'm glad we all agree. You see, it's like we are the Organization of American States, except we also have Vietnam, which is perfect.
Of course.
This is perfect. Which reminds me, Miss Nguyen, I am very curious. I don't know a lot about Vietnamese folklore. Is there any urban legend from Vietnam that you would like to share with us before we move on?
Well, I don't think so. I read a lot of good stories, not scary stories.
Good stories, but not scary stories? Oh.
Like stories with moral lessons.
That's fine, but that's typical, actually, in, like you told us before, in Southeast Asia, there are many traditional stories that have sort of a folklore or moralistic lesson to be taught. Do you want to share one with us?
Right now I can't think of anything.
I'm going to come back to you, but I'm not going to forget.
Okay. Okay.
Good. Excellent. I'm actually going to share one from Japan, if anybody wants to know. Some of you know, but maybe some who haven't taken a class with me don't. I lived in Japan. I actually lived in East Asia for a long time, South Korea and Japan. And I liked Korea. I spent a lot of time there, but Japan's nice too. And I'm going to tell a folk story from Japan. And this story is about a girl who's called Scissor Mouth. Scissor.
Tijeras?
Yeah, tijeras. Scissor Mouth.
Boca de tijera.
Yeah, tijeras boca de tijeras.
Boca de tijeras.
Yeah. Scissor Mouth. And what it is you're walking alone late at night. And suddenly you see a woman who's dressed all in black, and she's got a bandage covering her. She's got a bandage covering her mouth right here. And her eyes are red, and she comes up to you, and she just whispers very gently to you. She just comes very close, and she says in Japanese, and I'll say it in Japanese first, and then English, she says, "Watashi wa kirei?" And that means, am I beautiful? And what you're supposed to do, if you say yes, then what she does is her bandages will come off. And you can see her lips are cut all the way up here like scissors. And then she will say again, "Watashi wa kirei?" Yeah, just like the Joker, except it gets nastier. If you say no, she kills you immediately. If you say yes, then she will leave you alone, but she will follow you to your house, open your door, and she will cut your mouth open like hers. So what the trick is, you're supposed to say, I'm sorry, you look average. And it will confuse her, and you can run away.
Yeah, she's another stalker.
That's great.
I have a solution. We have her and Edward meet each other.
They're gonna stalk each other. Yeah.
They'll continue to stalk each other, and she can't kill Edward because Edward's already dead, and maybe he will like watching her. Who knows? Problems.
It's a perfect couple.
You're right. Why didn't I think of that before? That sounds perfect.
That was so obvious that we didn't think that before.
The things that you think about this late at night. I mean, what can you say? But how do you say? So that's an old. It's kind of a modern urban legend from Japan. Japan has a lot of freaky, weird legends. They have some very strange stuff there. South Korea too. But South Korea actually has a more horrible ghost story because they're next to North Korea, so that's kind of a real ghost story. I lived next to North Korea actually for a year, and I think I kind of think of it as a ghost country because nothing comes in and nothing comes out, and you can't see anything happening when you look at the border. So there's many urban legends about North Korea too. It's a pretty creepy place. So we talked about movies earlier. I want to go back to that. Does anybody have a favorite scary movie?
Eso.
I know.
The clown.
Don't talk about that movie. That is a scary, scary movie. I'm very terrified of that movie.
It was a very good movie. What is the name? Give me a second.
Turkey?
Yes.
He put the people in a close site, and he killed them with like a tramps. And do you remember that?
I think it's so.
Saw? Yes, the one that is from killing people only.
Yeah, that's Saw. That's right.
Saw.
Yeah, Saw.
Saw. I liked the very first Saw movie, but I did not like the rest of them. I liked the first one a lot.
It's not.
Well, I don't like any of Saw movies because they are like only killing people and that stuff.
Yeah, that's why I don't like, to be honest, if this is a little bit of a debate class, I don't like the other movies because there's no point to it. The first movie was just really good because it was a new approach. I liked it, but the rest, there's like 7 Saw movies now. Do you believe that? 7? I haven't even watched all of them. It's too much for me. I like kind of. Does anybody know the movie The Ring?
Yes.
I heard that, but never watched.
Yeah, The Ring, and with the. Has anybody seen Junon or The Grudge?
What?
It's a Japanese horror movie called The Grudge, and it's about this ghost it's the ghost of a woman who was killed by her husband, and she comes and kills other people, and every time she comes to kill you, she makes this sound like
Oh my god. That's horrible.
I think so. Wow. Juan, I cannot even see your eyes. Are you scared? There you go.
No, I'm not.
She's like, no, I'm not scared. Stop it.
I'm not scared.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just playing with you. No, actually, believe it or not, I was so lucky when I was teaching in Korea. There's a very famous Korean horror movie director called his name's Park Chan-wook. And he's famous for making scary movies in Korea. And I got to teach his daughter. So he gave me all of these copies of his horror movies. He's this rich guy or whatever, and he gave me all of his movies, and they're terrifying because his movies are all about revenge.
Oh, revenge.
Yeah, revenge. And so, like, something bad happens to the good guy or the main character, and they spend the entire rest of the movie killing people. And then they finally get the big bad guy and they torture him. And so one day I went and I asked him, I was like, Mr. Park, I have to be honest with you. Have you visited a doctor lately? Because I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned, and you seem like a good father, and I know that you make a lot of money off of this, but are you okay? And that's when he says, "Oh, he's just like Matthew. It's just a story. It's like writing a book." I'm like,
Matthew is just a story. Don't be concerned about it.
Yeah,
Matthew.
It's just a story after all.
It's just a story, my friend. Oh my god. Would you like to see the end of the story, Matthew?
No!
Come here, my friend. I will show you.
This is why I'm glad there's 2,500 miles separating us. Vertically. If not horizontally. But that reminds me. Hold on, there we go. So, this is also, I think, an important, since we have several Mexican students here. I want to take an opportunity. Does anybody want to explain, even though it's not really scary, does anybody want to explain about Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, for some of our non-Mexican students?
Yes.
Day of the Dead?
Yes, Day of the Dead. For those of you who don't know, Mexico has this very unique holiday that mixes Catholic faith with old traditional Mexican indigenous traditions,
Yes.
and it's called Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, where they honor the dead. And I would like, if one of our Mexican students would like to share that about that holiday with us. It's the perfect class to talk about that.
Yes. Well, that holiday is about, well, we make ofrendas. I don't know how to say that in English.
An offering.
Yeah, an offering is like what is in the church, like an altar, but we put like several steps there, and then we put like photographs of our dead people, like our grandmothers, grandfathers, whoever died in the family. And then we put them like flowers, we put them like what they like to drink and what they like to eat. Like we put them alcohol, we put them like their favorite food, I don't know, mole or something like that. And then we put like from a flower in Mexico that is called cempasúchil. It's like an orange flower. We put like away. And then it's supposed that the dead come to the ofrenda and then they eat and drink what you put to them. Like, if you put them like their alcohol, they eat their alcohol and their food and those things. Well, sometimes we like pray to that ofrenda and then, well, that's all the Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, it's like a party for our dead people, you know? It's, we believe in that they come with us and we share with them. Yeah.
We even though most of America does not celebrate Day of the Dead, California and Texas do because of our cultural connection to Mexico. And it's actually Day of the Dead. What I think is so fascinating is it's not a sad day. It's a party. It really is. Because we believe that the ghosts and the spirits of our dead family members and friends come back to party with us.
In the offering, we put like a little dog, and some coins to help the spirits come with us and can come safe, you know, like the dog protect the spirit of
and the coin pays for the travel.
I want to ask. I want to ask something.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to ask something. I'm from Mexico also, and I really like. I mean, it's good that each country to have I mean a tradition day, and I mean every culture of each country. It's good, right? But
Sure.
I mean, this question is going to especially from people from Mexico. Actually, there's two right here, and do you really believe that those, I mean, dead people comes to that day to visit us?
Well, I don't think that they come to visit us, but I think like now I am a Catholic, and I think that well they like cure us, they like and now they are like not proud, like happy that we pray to them and that we put their favorite food. Like they are happy because we remember them.
I
Yeah.
mean, but the point is that do you really believe that they come to that day? I mean, or just for tradition. I mean,
You
in
live.
my
It's because you live the day. You live that party, that sensation, and you don't know if they come or not, but you do, and maybe they come and they maybe will be happy with this action, and that is
okay,
the essential. It's not
okay,
the true or not true, is the experience that you
okay.
maybe give today, and maybe they appreciate that situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
only
definitely, yeah,
we
I,
share. Yeah.
I think definitely I could say, as crazy as my ancestors are, that they would come for any excuse to party. Definitely. I don't, I don't think we have to worry about that. Oh, Grandpa, here's your whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm right here, boy. Come. You know, if there's an afterlife, I am absolutely positive that my ancestors come on November 2nd to party. Come here, ghost grandpa. Is there a similar tradition, Juan, is there a similar tradition in Vietnam celebrating maybe ancestor worship?
Yes, we also celebrate like the Day of the Dead, but only for one people. We don't have one official day. Like
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know how to explain. For example, if someone dies today and 1 year later we'll celebrate. It's not on November 2nd. November 2nd. Yeah. It depends on
Okay.
when he dies. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty good. So guys, I see that we've got one other, Mr. Larzan Angulo. Good to see you, sir. How are you? Oh, I think he's a little frozen. That's okay. We have a large class today and several viewers. This is actually really, really good. I'm happy that we have such a large class just the second day in these courses. As we wrap up, let's go ahead and think about, I think that we've made some good conclusions about scary stories. Hollywood offers some scary things like Eso or It, but maybe sometimes the scariest stories can be based on reality, like the stories based on the narco wars, unfortunately. They can also be based on urban legends, like with the organ trafficking and the woman with the scissor mouth. And more recently, we also see that ghost stories don't really have to be scary, but they can be part of a way that a culture deals with death, a way that a culture tries to understand what happens when we die. Okay. So this was a very interesting class. I'm happy that we have had a chance to have this course. I do want to ask, as we go through, has anybody in their personal life ever experienced some kind of supernatural or scary event that they cannot explain that they would like to share?
I do.
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Experience.
Albis, and then Ms. Wen, and then after.
This is something that happened to me, but it was by a disease. I was sleeping and then I got a nightmare, so I tried to wake up and then I couldn't. It's a disease called sleep paralysis. So
sleep paralysis.
So I was like somewhere in between, and I wasn't awake, but uh,
But you
no
couldn't
estaba ni
move.
dormido ni
Couldn't
despierta.
move. You were unable to move.
So I started seeing shadows in the wall, and that was so scary. Even that was so scary. That night I had to fall asleep with my parents because it was so scary.
You're very brave for telling that story. I think so. Who's next? Who else would like to share? Come on, guys.
I?
Yes, please.
Well, is that my school was a cemetery, and well, in fact, the news and like a program in Mexico goes to my school, and well, many things happen in my school. Like they say that in the auditorium there was a girl who, when if you stay at night, you will see that girl. And one night, we stay in the auditorium. So well, I hear like strange noises. Well, all my partners, and then we like run away because we were very afraid. Yeah, but well, my is that in my school there was a cemetery, but with hundreds of people. Like it's extra normal in Mexico. It's like a program where they show them like scary stories and places that are scary. And well, my school was there, and we were like very shocked because it was a cemetery, but like thousands of people were buried there. So I don't know. That's my creepy story.
Yeah, that does sound a little bit unnerving. I couldn't. The only time I ever had that kind of situation was I was in my old high school after dark, and the school is very old, 100 years old, so it's this old building.
Yeah.
And
yeah, my school too.
Yeah, and I was in the old theater, and for some reason the lights turned on in just one room, and then they turned off. And probably it was just an electrical problem, but I ran as fast as I could out of there. I immediately I was like, nope, I'm gone. No way. So, guys, this was a really fun evening. I think most of us, with the exception of Miss Nguyen, it's still daytime in Vietnam, I believe. It's maybe lunchtime? Noon.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to have lunch very soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was wonderful having you. Our next, I believe here on the schedule, our next Verbling class is with Rebecca tomorrow for games in about 9 hours. So I think she's probably gonna have some competitions prepared, so try and get your competitive nature ready to win. After that, I do believe that there's going to be a food class with Joe and a pronunciation class with Joe, and then I will have a business class, which should be very interesting because I love business, but I also like making jokes. I'm not sure how that's going to either be awesome or terrifying. So we'll see how. So that's the schedule that's coming up, beginning in 9 hours. Everybody, Juan, please have a wonderful lunch, and everybody else, have a wonderful evening and get some sleep, and try not to be too afraid to turn off the lights.
Great.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Buenas noches.